and welcome to another of Mrs. Patnell's phonics lessons. We have a new Phase 5 sound for you today to learn, and we're going to go over some of the ones that we've learned in the last couple of sessions so we don't forget those. Right, to start off with, we will do it in our usual way and look at our flashcards. I'm going to put my sound of the day over here and we'll come back to that in a moment. And we are going to start with our Phase 5 ones that we already know, that we've learnt, and then move into our Phase 3 ones. So your first one is oi. Remember, this new oi usually comes at the ends of words or the ends of syllables. And this one is ow, another way to do ow. And this one, a. I'll pop them down like this so I can see them as I lift them up. This is our other owl. This is the first owl that we knew from Phase 3. I mean, in my class, we frown when we say this owl because it's in the middle. So you've got owl like this, and now you've got your new Phase 5 owl like this. Oops, sorry, wrong one. This. Here we go. Like that. Apologies, my flashcards aren't as see-through as they used to be. And this one is or oo. And this one, a. Yeah. J. Oi. R. E. Sh. Z. Ear, or, I, or the, z, usually at the ends of syllables or the ends of words. Ooh. Another trigraph here, air, and another sound. This one, oh. This one, we're strong men. And this one, qu. This one, x. And this one, it's another sound. And this one. This is but usually like mixture. Right, okay, so that's our Phase 3 and our new Phase 5 sounds. So, I'm going to introduce you today to some a new sound for Phase 5, and I have it just here. Now, it was in one of my words in my sentences the other day, so I had to introduce you to it quickly. But here it is, we're going to really tackle this one today. So, it has the letter E, then an A, or if we're calling them by their names that we know from singing the alphabet song, an E and an A. Okay. Now, when these two are together like this, and you see them working together in a word, you won't blend them as A anymore. You'll see them as making the E sound. Now, we already know the E sound as an E and an E. That's the E sound we've known in Phase 3. But now Phase 5 introduces us to another way of making the E sound, and it's like this, okay? Now, once again, like with all the other sounds, I don't want you to get worried that suddenly there's all these E sounds. Which one are you going to use when you're spelling? Your teachers will just be really pleased that you remember one of them and you're using one of them in your spelling. So don't get worried and be put off writing because you don't know which E sound it will be. Your teacher will be really pleased that you've just remembered one of them, okay? But we are going to look at some words today that do have the E sound written this way. So keep your eyes peeled for this sound in today's lesson because most of my words will be using this E sound. So when you see an E and an A, don't blend E, think E. Okay, right, so let's have a go at writing it first of all. So take your magic fingers in the air. I'm going to twist so I'm looking the same way as you. Now, we cursively write in my class, as I've said many a time. You stick to what you do so that you don't get confused when you go back to school. So finger in the air. I am going to whoosh up, loop round and do my E, And then for my class cursively start like this, come back round, go up the side, down and flick for the but you do it as you normally would. And together they make the E sound with our donkey ears, like in my class, E sound. Okay, so we're going to have a go at writing this today. We know how to write an we know how to write an but we want to see them side by side on our whiteboards. So we are going to grab our boards, and I want you now, without me holding it up anymore, to try and remember how that E sound was made. What came first, what came second. Okay, so write that E sound on your boards now, and then flash it up to the camera if you want to pause me while you think about it. But here is the E sound, okay, the new E sound. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to have a go at writing a few words that when you hear the E sound in these words, this is how you're going to write it, because all these words I'm giving you now are using the E sound looking like this, not like the followed by the like you've been used to, okay? So whenever you hear the E sound, when you're using your phone and flicky fingers, go with the sound, the new E sound. Okay, the first word I want you to have a go at writing on your board is peach. Maybe the colour peach, or a peach in your fruit bowl. Peach. Use your phone and flicky fingers. How are you going to write peach? I can hear 1, 2, 3 sounds in peach, not 3 letters, but 3 sounds. So there's a couple of digraphs in peach. Have a go now. Pause this video if you need to. But I'm going to write it on my board and then share it with you. So if you want to take your time, by all means, pause the video and then come back to it as we go through it together. So here is peach. 3 sounds, P, E, new E sound, and Ch, digraph on the end. So that's how we are writing peach. Right, next one with an E sound in. Remember how we're writing it today, the F followed by the A. Can you have a go at writing clean? If you've just cleaned the windows, or you just cleaned your shoes, or cleaned your teeth, the word is clean. Clean. I can hear 1, 2, 3, 4 sounds in clean. There are 2 sounds very close together at the beginning. We've dealt with all those words at phase 4. We've got to really hear the sounds and pull them apart. So clean, clean. I'm going to write it now on my boards. Where you can hear the E sound, it will be the new way. Remember how to write it. And I'll share it with you now. Clean. We have K and O really close together, making a kind of cl, cl sound. Cl, E, N. Clean. Give yourself a pat on the back if you got that absolutely right. Okay, let's go for another one. Let's go now for seat. Okay, you're going to take a seat. You're sitting down on a seat. I can hear 3 sounds in the word seat. You write those down now on your boards. I will do the same, and then we will share it together. So seat, 3 sounds. There's obviously a digraph in there because it's the new sound of the day. And here is seat. I've got a S, then the new E sound, and then last of all, T, seat. Okay, we're getting good at this. Let's now go for dream. Dream. You've gone to bed, you've had a lovely dream. 2 sounds at the beginning, really close together. So you've got to pull those apart to hear both of them. I can hear 4 sounds. So you're looking for 4 sounds in the word dream. Use your phoning flicky fingers to hear those sounds and write them down. I'm going to do the same. I've got my 4 sounds. I'm going to share it with you now. So if you're not ready, pause the video. And here is dream. I've got D and R really close together at the beginning, making a kind of dr sound. Dr, E, new E sound. Dream. Dream. If you got it right, pat on the back for dream. Right, let's do one more. Let's do cream. You've just done dream, so cream rhymes with dream, and it's going to be very easy because most of the sounds are the same. There are 4 sounds again in cream. 2 sounds very close together at the beginning. Think what you had for dream, and then think what you need for cream. Write it on your board. 4 sounds you're looking for. Remember how to make today's E sound. And I'm going to share mine with you now. cream. K and r really close together, making a cr sound. Cr. Sound of the day, E and M. Cr, E, M, cream. Well done if you got that one right as well. So, getting used to the new E sound, okay, and how to write it and how to read it. So, I'm going to have a little look now quickly at some new tricky words, because we've only got a few to know at phase 5, but this is just the ones you need to know at phase 5. Much less, was a little phase 3 one in there, much less than the previous phases. So actually our tricky words, our common exception words, become a little bit easier for us. We'll tell a lie, there's a few here as well we've got to do. They become a little easier for us as we move into our phonics stages. So, these ones we have looked at before. I'm going to flash them at you again, and you just call out if you know what they are. If you need time to think, then do pause the video. Remember what I said about things happening in the past. They've already happened. They often have an ed or an ed put on the end. Sometimes they make a kd sound, and sometimes they make a more of a kt sound, okay? But they always look like an e and a d. So this one looks like ask, asked, asked. Now we don't say asked down this end of the country, we say asked. So if it blends as asked, think asked. And this one also ends in an e and a d or an e and a d. It's something that's happened in the past, that's why it's got the e and the d on the end. And this one is quite easy to blend. Ook. Ook. I'm getting confused with my sound. This is actually the short sound, not the long one. So ook, and then you got your ed on the end. So looked, looked. But you can hear that on this one, the ed sounds more like a kt sound, like a t, but it's actually written with an e and a d. So you've got asked, sounds like a d, looked, sounds like a t, but it's both written with an e and a d. Okay, so when you hear those past tense things that have happened before, I looked yesterday, I asked yesterday, you've got to think about how the e d is written. Right, okay, this one we should know. We can just recognise this short one. It's pretty funky. Oh, and but the h really doesn't make a sound. It's just O. So like the name of this letter by itself is O. Just try and remember that, and that one is O, like it's something's gone wrong. Oh dear. And this one, we already know this word, but written slightly different. Okay, this was a common exception word in phase 3. We've got it here again. Poke your tongue out for this digraph, but then the e, it, and r are making an air sound. So you have got the air there. We already have a there for it's over there. Remember, this one means if it's something that belongs to you. So their trousers or their toothbrush. And this one you might remember because it looks kind of long and strange, and I find the longer ones are often the ones you remember best. This one is people. So it's more like, well, it's more like people really, but we're just thinking of the e doing nothing, the ul making its ul sound, and then this o is kind of just joining in, making an e sound really. So p, ul, okay, so the o is being tricky, making an e sound with the e, but then the rest is kind of okay, he's just silent. Ul, people. I'm going to add one more to our phase 5 list, another new one. I'm going to go with this one here. Now have a good look at this new one. The first sound is helping you, but then, and the last sound is helping you, but then in the middle is a bit tricky. So we've got could, k, d. Now how strange is that? It's made with an o, an a, and ul, but it's really just making an sound. K, d, could. Okay, so that's another new one to add to our pile. Right, I think that probably now we're going to go at reading some sentences. Hang on, before we do that, I have my list here of very quick to read words. Now these words are to go over the sounds that we've learnt since we started phase 5. Okay, so remember we have learnt from our flashcards, we've learnt a new way of making the A sound, a new way of making an oi sound, and a new way of making an ow sound. Okay, so an oi, an ow, and an A sound, okay? So look out for those here on these words. I'm going to bring my list a little closer to you. We've got to try and see how quick we can read these. Now, you're more than welcome to time yourself at home if you want to pause my video, but I am going to go through it with you now. So hopefully you can see these okay. They're a little smaller than usual. So remember, this is a new sound. So we've got b, oi, and we usually get that on the ends of words, but oi, boy. This one, a, n, an, n, oi, annoy, annoy. If something annoys you. This one, e, n, j, oi. There's the oi sound on the end of a word again. Enjoy, enjoy. This one here, we're moving on. We haven't got the oi sound anymore. It's this new digraph here. Hopefully you can remember what sound he makes. So we've got sp, 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 r, ow is that new sound, and t, sprout, sprout, like a Brussels sprout, or maybe when you get a new sprout when you're growing a seed. And this one, gr, gr, new sound ow, ground, ground, standing on the ground. And this one, new digraph on the end of a word, a new way to make the a sound. So stray, stray, like a stray cat that's wandering the streets. And last one here looks a lot like stray without the s at the beginning. So it's just tray, tray. You might have a tray of drinks. Okay, so that is revisiting our sounds in the middle of words and at the ends of words. Now, I've got 2 sentences for you to read today before I give you one to write, like I usually do. This one I shall bring up a little closer to the camera, and I will hold it like this. If you wish to pause the screen and read it by yourself, that's what I would really like you to do, remember. And also remember that at this point in the year, you could probably blend it quickly in your head and then say it out loud without having to sound the sounds out, okay? You might even just start to recognise these words now without even having to blend them. But if you still like to blend, because that is the way we learn to read, so that is absolutely fine, then you please still do that. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to go through it with you now. Common exception word with a lovely capital letter at the beginning, so our punctuation so far is so good. We have got w, e, we. 3 sounds, s, it, sit, we sit, itten, in, a. Now this is the new e sound in these sentences, remember, made with an e and an a. So when you see the e and the a, we want the e sound. So s, eat, seat. We sit in a seat. We all know this word. And read, read. We sit in a seat and read. Books, books, books. This one is a little bit trickier. This y is making an I sound on the end, as it often does in words. So we've got b, I, by. We all know this one. The. New e sound, so s, e, see. We sit in a seat and read books by the sea. And there's a little full stop there just to make sure our punctuation is all present. Lovely finger spaces as well to make it easier for us to read. Look at that e sound. It's in seat, it's in read, and it's in see. So it pops up quite a bit. Now I'm going to flop my board over this way, and I have a second sentence for you. Now I'm going to hold it still if you want to pause the camera and have a go at reading it yourself. A little shorter one, this one, but do look for the E sound, but in this one it's written in both ways. The old way that we know from phase 3 and the new way now from phase 5. See if you can spot them in there. Right, we're going to read it together now. Can, a, sh, eep, the old E way that we already knew. Sheep, sheep. Can a sheep, r, so it's like r, e, but it's more like a reap, new E sound. T, reap, eat, repeat. Can a sheep repeat? A, bull, more like a bl, bl, eat. bleat. Can a sheep repeat a bleat? And this type of sentence is a question because it needs an answer, so that's been punctuated with a question mark and a capital letter and lovely finger spaces. Can a sheep repeat a bleat? Repeat means can they say it again? I think a sheep can definitely repeat a bleat. Sometimes if you stand by a field of sheep, they never stop bleating. Right, okay. We are now going to write a sentence. You can, of course, listen to my saying it. I want you to try saying it out loud as well, because in year 1, you move on to think about saying your sentences out loud more often. That way, you can count how many words you need, make sure you've got every word, and you won't miss any out. Sometimes it's quite easy to miss out little words like in or at or and. But if you count the words, you know you're looking for, say, 8 words or something, and you can count them at the end, you know you won't have missed it. It's also a good idea to read your sentence back as you go along to make sure you haven't missed anything, okay? But to say it out loud at first is a great way not to miss out on any words. So when I've said it, if you could repeat it back to me on camera, that would be great. So our sentence that we are going to write today will have the new E sound in it. So when you hear the E sound, e and an a, okay? There's no tricky ones in it where you have the old E sound, not in this sentence you're writing. So it is, at least we can have meat as a good treat. At least we can have meat as a good treat. Repeat it back to me. Excellent, if you got it right. Let's count how many words we need. At least we can have meat as a good treat. 10 words. At least we can have meat as a good treat. 10-word sentence. Wow, I definitely think you're up to it, guys. Have a go at writing that sentence. There's nothing too major in it, and actually there's no 2-syllable words, so it's not too bad a sentence. If you're finding the whole sentence tricky, there are 10 words after all, pick some words out. Try and use the words that have the new E sound. So maybe go for least, maybe go for meat, maybe go for treat. Have a go at doing all 3 if you can. If you're finding the whole word tricky, then listen to the initial sounds, okay? The sounds at the beginning, and get those down. That's very important, okay? Maybe you can hear the sound at the end. Maybe you can really try and hear some more in between, especially using those phoning flicky fingers to help you. Any ones you don't get right, your adults could write in for you and discuss which ones were missing. Don't forget to punctuate it. Does it need a full stop or a question mark? So think, is this a question or is this a statement? Remember finger spaces and capital letters. And I will see you again tomorrow for another new sound from Phase 5. Take care. Bye-bye.